Hello, my name is Alexander Betts, based at the Refugee Studies Centre in Oxford. I'm delighted to open this event focusing on the Refugee-Led Research Hub based in Nairobi. And although the Hub's activities have been ongoing for more than a year now, we're finally getting around to having a launch event. And this is a hybrid event with people here in Oxford, people in Nairobi and online. So welcome and thank you for joining us. The RLRH is a joint initiative of the Refugee Studies Centre, the RSC, and the British Institute in Eastern Africa, BIEA. But importantly, it's a hub with its own leadership team. Its aim is to support researchers with lived experience of displacement. And during this launch event, you're going to hear about the BIEA premises, the hub base we have at the BIEA and the facilities that are available, about RLRH's emerging activities. You'll be introduced to colleagues at the hub, hear about next steps, and have a chance to ask your own questions. I'm going to be very brief with opening remarks from an RSC perspective before handing over to our BIEA colleagues. I'm particularly excited that the RSC is part of this initiative. There are several reasons why we think the hub is particularly important. The first is that we want to support meaningful participation of refugees and people with lived experience in research in general, but particularly relating to refugee and forced migration studies. For too long, refugees have participated in research, mainly as research assistants or enumerators, and rarely had a chance to be involved in all aspects of the research process, from agenda setting to research design to implementation and publication. And the hub is an attempt to address that. Secondly, we think including refugees and people with lived experience of displacement in research leads to better research. Lived experience is a crucial part of understanding experiences, identifying questions, engaging with communities, and working within networks of trust. And thirdly, we think it's really important to rebalance opportunities within refugee and forced migration studies, but also in academia as a whole. Research on forced migration matters. It shapes policy, it shapes practice. And arguably the people most affected by that are people who have experiences of displacement. They need to be involved in agenda setting, including through research. So because of supporting meaningful participation, because inclusion leads to better research, and because we want to rebalance opportunity, we think this is an initiative that really matters greatly. I also just want to say a massive thank you to a number of our key partners. First of all, the IKEA Foundation that has funded most of the activities of the hub, but our emerging group of partners supporting the hub's research, the Open Society Foundations, the Bosch Foundation, IDRC, the Global Whole Wellbeing Foundation, and the Rockefeller Brothers Foundation. We're also working with a range of academic partners, Learn, based at Carleton University, the East African Center for Forced Migration and Displacement, and Southern New Hampshire University's Global Education Movement. So a massive thank you to everyone who's made this possible, and of course, most crucially, all our colleagues at the Hub and the BIEA. So I'll hand over to the BIEA and Jane, who is Director of the BIEA.
Thank you, Alex, and hello everyone. It's very nice to be here to talk to you all today. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes providing some background to the BIEA and also talk a little bit about the collaboration with the RSC. The BIEA is one of 8 of the UK's British International Research Institutes, or BIRI, funded by UK government via the British Academy, which is the UK's National Academy for Humanities and Social Sciences. And as such, the BIEA's remit is to conduct, support, and facilitate innovative, world-leading, high-impact research across humanities and social sciences, across Eastern Africa and beyond, to include the whole of the African continent. And the BIEA has a long and successful history of doing just that. Our organisation was established in 1960 and has grown and developed to be positioned at the forefront of cutting-edge, impactful research. In addition to our well-equipped facilities at our research hub in Nairobi that our country director Frida is going to talk a bit about later, we provide dynamic and pertinent training and funding opportunities for researchers at all stages of their academic careers. Additionally, we see ourselves as the go-to organisation for universities and researchers based in the UK, in Africa and elsewhere to partner with to collaboratively develop and implement and successfully complete research. In this way, we were more than happy to begin discussions with the RSC over a year ago now about developing a collaboration. And it was quickly clear that our aims and objectives and our overall vision of excellent research alongside transformative training and development opportunities were very much aligned. And from those early discussions, and with the support of our Council of Trustees in the UK and our Kenya board, our collaboration has steadily and successfully grown. To date, 4 graduates have joined our long-running Graduate Attachment Scheme, or GAS, as RSC GAS. And this scheme provides recent graduates with an interest in further studies in Africa opportunity to gain practical research experience and develop their networks at this fundamental early stage of their careers. All the RSC and RLRH trainees and fellows are, as part of our BIEA research community, join frequent BIEA hosted events, such as the ongoing lectures that form part of our year-long Introduction to Research Processes course, and all are encouraged and very welcome to join activities such as our weekly reading group and also our graduate forum, where they can come together with their peers to discuss current research themes and their research progress. And most recently, we've established the joint RSC BIEA Fellowship, and we're thrilled to be facilitating 12 fellows through their participation in this comprehensive professional development scheme. The BIEA is not only very proud of this exciting collaboration with the RSC and the opportunity this creates for refugee scholars and those with lived experience of displacement, but we're also looking forward to exploring how we can continue to develop this important partnership in the future. While I have the floor, of course, I would encourage all of you to visit our website, biea.ac.uk, to understand a bit more about the opportunities we provide and join us, become part of our community. And it's now my pleasure to hand over to Dr. Frida Nikarote, who is our Kenya Country Director, to tell you a bit more about what's going on over in Nairobi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kim. I'll just tell you a little bit about the building, because Jen has talked about all the programs that we have. So I just want to mention that we have a library, a very well-equipped library with books for humanities and social sciences. So when you're in Nairobi, please drop by and visit our library. It's a membership library. So when you come, you can join. You can look at what we have and you can join. We have facilities for archaeology. So if you're going to the field, you can come to the BIEA and get equipment, go to the field, which will give us subsidized prices for members. We also have seminar rooms where you can come and disseminate your research. And also we have a marquee and outside facilities where you can come and hold your events. So you are all welcome, and when you visit our website, you'll see more. Thank you very much, Kim. May I also mention that we have other partners within we call it like Laikipia Road partners, where we have, apart from RLRH, we also have IFRA, which is a French-based research institute. We have RBI, we have PROCO, and we have RSC, so we are quite international. Thank you.
Next, we're going to do a virtual tour of the BIEA, and you'll get to see the hub.
Hello everyone, welcome to the BIEA. My name is Fonny Joyce. I work at the Refugee-Led Research Hub as an associate researcher, and today I have with me...
Thank you so much, Fonny, for inviting me. My name is Frida Nkirote. I'm the country director of the British Institute in Eastern Africa.
We will be taking you on a tour of the BIEA premises and the new Refugee-Led Research Hub, and we hope you enjoy this tour. Welcome. Thank you so much for taking us through the history, the rich history, as well as sharing the over 1,000 books and what we can use it for, and also what happens within the seminar. So we want to say really thank you. We're going to go back outside and continue the tour to see the new Refugee-Led Research Hub, and we welcome you to join us as we go on this. Thank you, Frida.
Thank you so much, Fanny. Thank you.
So, the new Refugee-Led Research Hubs are based within the BIA premises around the gardens. As you can see, it's quite serene, very green at the same time. We're going to take a closer look so you can also experience what we see. So come on with us and we can see what do we actually have down here. And as you can see, just behind me, we have a sitting area. This is where most of the social activities take place. We get to interact with our colleagues, we get to interact with the different partner organizations who are based within the premise, and at the same time we also have events that we host here. We're hoping that one of these days, after we do an official launch, an in-person launch, we can have you here and you can enjoy this particular premise. Just behind me, amongst the tree, you can see to my extreme left, we have the new Refugee-Led Research Hub offices. And then just behind me, you can clearly see the BIA offices where we have just come out from. I look forward to having you here. So let's go closer and take a quick look and see what is within the different offices. And I have just taken you to in a short walk where you've experienced the ongoing constructions. We're working to make sure that this space is really great. And I can also see Ruth is here. Ruth is the academic facilitator, and we want to bring her out here so she can officially welcome us to this particular space. Hi, Ruth.
Hi, Fody.
Really great to see you again. I've brought with me quite a lot of people who want to know. Can you tell us what is this space all about?
Well, welcome everyone. First, my name is Ruth. I'm the academic facilitator of the hub, and this is the Refugee-Led Research Hub offices. Well, I must mention that there's construction still going on, but we'll be having lovely spaces here, and we'll be having outdoor furniture soon. We'll be having more sessions taking place. But welcome. Walk with us as we show you what's happening in here.
Great. Really excited to go in. But before we take you in, I also wanted to mention that within the Refugee-Led Research Hub, we're 42 colleagues, and almost half of us are based in Nairobi. So we try as much as possible to be in person within the office when we can. We're following the guidelines on COVID, but then at the same time, we're going to take you to a quick shot of what we have within the offices and which spaces we use. And you can also see the different colleagues who have joined us for today. So I invite you to come with us as we go on a quick tour of our new offices. So this, which you will be seeing shortly, is a space where we can conduct independent work or have meetings. And mostly what we do within this particular space, we either focus on the different research projects we're working on, or the different academic opportunities that we've created, or learning opportunities that we have. And most of our colleagues would normally come to these spaces and use this as a way of just enriching their academic knowledge as well as their research. Basically, that is our offices. You've seen. Ruth, anything you would want to say?
Definitely. Each office hosts about 7 colleagues. So 7 in this office and 7 in the other office. and we tend to work in intervals considering the COVID guidelines. But anytime any of you is in Nairobi, please make this a spot to visit, and we definitely look forward to hosting you all and having enriching conversations here.
Definitely, this was so exciting. I hope you've enjoyed taking a walk through the premises within the BIA offices and also learning more about the new office space that we have at the Refugee-Led Research Hub. We look forward to the collaborations that will come out of this particular launch that we've just had. And we want to say from us, thank you very much and bye for now.
Karibu sana. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ruth, Phony, and Frida for the tour, and particular thanks to Lillian and Salama for the videography and Maddie for the editing on that video. We now want to give you a very brief overview of the work and activities of the Hub. So I'll be giving you an overview, and then the people who have done the work behind the particular pillars of the work will explain and provide some more depth to that. So we have some PowerPoint slides just to give you a sense of what's going on. Really, as those slides are coming up, the work of the Hub divides into two broad areas, a research pillar, if you like, and an academic pillar. And we know that that is a distinction that's in some ways puzzling, but I hope it will all become clear. In many ways, the research pillar is focused on enabling impactful research to take place that is refugee-led and led by people with lived experience of displacement through all aspects of that work. And in many ways, that work is full research projects that are in some cases collaborative projects. They might also be individual projects, but are often in partnership with other organizations. So as you'll hear, we have a growing range of partnerships with both research and non-research organizations engaging with the Hub to implement research in the broad area of refugee and forced migration studies. The second area of our work is really what we're calling the academic pillar. And the purpose of the academic pillar is to provide graduate level learning opportunities for refugees and displaced scholars. Now, I think one of the features of that academic pillar is it's designed to create pathways at different levels, to go all the way from people who might be undertaking an undergraduate degree or not necessarily even had the opportunity for undergraduate study, all the way through to the fellowship scheme, which is intended to be a graduate access scheme, ultimately to provide scholarship opportunities to enter universities like Oxford and elsewhere, but also to support people's academic development as they go into other areas that might be non-academic, such as working for professional organizations, international organizations, or NGOs. And it's worth saying that we've got a slide here that tries to highlight a little bit of that progression, that we're thinking about different stages of access. If you like, a stage one that involves our online course that you'll hear more about, that translates some of the MSc in refugee and forced migration studies that's undertaken in Oxford for a broader audience, a mentorship scheme, through to a second stage that involves projects like the graduate attachment scheme at the BIEA, graduate attachment increasingly with other organizations like the East Africa Center for Forced Migration and Displacement, provides opportunities to engage in project management, but crucially support and engagement through, for instance, the RSC BIEA fellowship, to a third stage that involves engaging research leads, project development, and projects such as our pioneering refugee-led study on refugee-led organizations in 4 countries in East Africa. And ultimately, we hope that can lead to access to scholarship and funded opportunities to engage in graduate degrees in Oxford and elsewhere with onward opportunities. So the idea is to create a viable pathway, a pipeline, if you like, that engages people at whatever stage they're at in their development as researchers. But now I'll hand over to Bahati to talk about the research pillar.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. My name is Bahati Ernestine, and I'm really honored to speak to all of you on behalf of the RLRH research team. Research is one of the key components of the work that we do, and so far we're both taking up opportunities from allied organizations, as well as developing internal research proposal, that are being developed by the core team. We are still dependent on donor priorities. However, we are deliberate in working with organizations that really understand that we work differently. So far, it has been a great learning experience for the team at different capacities. We are currently co-leading a study on refugee-led organizations, and that is in 4 countries, in Kenya, Uganda, Ethiopia, and Tanzania. We are doing this in partnership with the Local Engagement Refugee Research Network, LEARN, and the Dadaab Response Association, the DRA. And this is a study that basically explores the nature and scopes of refugee-led initiatives in East Africa, their impact and factors that influence their response and impact. So far, we have been able to finalize a desk review on this, have written a report, and the report has been presented at one of the RSC seminars by the research leads. The research leads have also begun the first phase of the study, and that is mapping out the refugee-led initiatives and trying to understand their scope and their nature in these 4 countries of the study. Also, in the past few weeks, we have been privileged to support refugee youth in partnership with the Refugee Self-Reliance Initiative, as well as the Global Refugee Youth Network. And this is in conducting a survey looking into the progress made towards refugee self-reliance globally since the Global Compact on Refugees. The outcomes and recommendations from this survey will be presented at the UNHCR high-level meeting next month. And this will be to state representatives and policymakers. So we're really looking forward to this. Aside from this, we are currently working on a few more research projects. Looking into access to citizenship for refugees, that is in Kenya so far, and we are partnering with the Open Society Foundation as well as the Refugee-Led Organization Network in Kenya. And we are assessing the pathways that have been made available to refugees by the law and how this translates into practice. We hope that the outcome from this study will be able to inform litigation efforts and advocacy in this area. We're also looking at access to employment opportunities and permits, as well as documentation to refugee graduates in Kenya. And this came up as a result of a virtual event that we held in October to question, inform, and change practices in this field. So we're really happy to share that our research work is growing, and this means that our team is also growing with it. We are really excited to welcome 2 new colleagues to our team that will be joining us this week. That is Bisimwa and Robson, both of whom have a displacement background. Bisimwa is originally from the DRC and is currently based in Uganda, while Robson is originally from Ethiopia, currently based in Nairobi. We're really excited to be able to work with them and to learn from their vast experience in research in this field. We look forward to building more partnerships with partners who are really committed to promote refugee leadership in forced migration research. And our team is growing and is becoming more and more well-suited to leading studies exploring emerging topics that engage the refugee community. Also, because of our roots in displacement, we take an approach that actively engages displaced persons, both in the design and validation of the findings, paying really close attention to the ethics of conducting research. We hope that our research will provide evidence to stakeholders and also advance policies and programs that are more responsive to the refugee community needs. Briefly, that is the work that we do and the approach that we take on research. And I hope I've painted a clear enough picture. And with that said, over to you, Alex. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bahati. Just to say a little bit more about the academic pillar, which has several elements. Its core aim is to provide learning opportunities for refugee and displaced scholars. And it does that through teaching and training, but also professional development opportunities. So it has a number of activities that, as I said, try to cater for different audiences at different stages of their research journeys. So we've recently developed an online course in refugee and forced migration studies, which is based on the MSc in refugee and forced migration studies here in Oxford. And we've tried to make it accessible, make it available online, to make it something that can be scaled. And it's being piloted at the moment amongst our fellowship with a view to targeting 1,000 learners in different parts of the world next year. So we're very excited about that. One of our real flagship programs is the RSC BIEA fellowship that you'll hear more about in a minute, where out of literally hundreds of applications, we've been able to select 12 brilliant fellows, all of whom are working on aspects of forced displacement with a focus on East Africa, but are not exclusively in East Africa. They're in East Africa, Southern Africa, Europe, and elsewhere. And they will undergo a 12-month fellowship program as active participants in the life of the Refugee Studies Centre and the BIEA, with opportunities to engage in seminars, interactive sessions, joint sessions with the cohort of MSc students in Oxford, and to attend a range of online and in Nairobi in-person events. And what's interesting about that fellowship is it's a 9-month academic program followed by a 3-month research placement within a research organization, whether a university or a think tank or a non-academic organization. We're also partnering with other organizations, with the BIEA, as you heard from Jane, on the graduate attachment scheme for researchers who want to make use of the facilities at the BIEA and the support of the BIEA. And we're launching very soon a similar graduate research placement opportunity at the East African Centre for Forced Migration and Displacement based in Nairobi. And hopefully there'll be more activities upcoming. But to deep dive into just one aspect of that, I'm going to pass over to Ruth and Sarah, who have been leading much of the work on the fellowship. So Ruth, I'll hand over to you first of all.
Thank you, Alex. Hi, everyone. My name is Ruth Nyakirario. I'm joining this launch from the hub in Nairobi. And as Alex has mentioned, I coordinate the overall academic activities of the fellowship, as well as additional programs that he's just talked about. I was a student of the MSc Refugee and Forced Migration Studies, and I'm so excited to be able to revisit this academic content. And in my role as the academic facilitator of the fellowship, to be able to run this program, to be able to help to run this program. Well, I'm going to share a bit more details about the fellowship, which, as Alex has mentioned again, is a 1-year program that aims to support refugee and displaced scholars who have an interest in refugee studies. This is so as they're able to access onward pathways, both academically and professionally. At the heart of this fellowship is the acknowledgement that education is a durable pathway and is an upcoming durable pathway, and working towards more inclusive research and representation in this field. This fellowship consists of 9 months of academic and research training, followed by a 3-month professional placement where fellows can gain practical research. My colleague is going to share a breakdown of how these months are. We're currently working with 12 fellows who are recruited out of a pool of more than 900 applicants, all with lived experience of displacement as current former refugees, asylum seekers, internally displaced, stateless, and other self-identified displaced people. Our fellows are based across different regions. A majority are based in Eastern Africa, that's Kenya and Uganda and Burundi, Southern Africa, that's Zambia, Zimbabwe, and South Africa, and Northern Africa, that's Libya, and some are in Europe. Throughout this program, the fellows have been and will be interacting with researchers at the RSC and at the BIEA, RSC staff and students, alumni, and other forced migration specialists. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Sarah, who's going to share more details about the fellowship. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Ruth, and it's a pleasure to be here and to tell you a bit more about the fellowship. My name is Sarah, and I have been working together with the RLRH team in running the program. And as Ruth has mentioned, I'm gonna just give you an overview of how the fellowship is built and the different activities. And as it was previously highlighted, it's 9 months of study followed by a 3-month professional placement. And this 9 months of study is broken down into 3 terms, following a similar structure to the Oxford's Masters in Refugee and Forced Migration Studies. We are currently finishing term 1, which is the Michaelmas term in Oxford terms, where fellows are really building that foundational knowledge in refugee and forced migration studies. And then we will be moving on to what you can see for the next 6 or 9 months with term 2, which will be focused on building research methods and a specialization, and fellows will be able to delve a bit deeper in some of the topics that they would be interested in carrying out their independent projects. And in term 3, which is the last 3 months of study, they will be able to work on independent research projects. And this will be followed by a 3-month research placement within the RSC, RLRH, BIEA, or other partner organizations in order to give an opportunity for the fellows to really gain some practical research skills as well. And just to bring all of this a bit into life, we wanted to show you how a week looks like in the fellows calendar. As you can see here, and as Ruth and Alex have mentioned, they take part in different activities. The online course that builds this foundational knowledge in refugee and forced migration studies, where they interact with different disciplines such as anthropology, ethics, international relations, and then they have online discussions, live discussions. They have advanced seminars delivered by the RSC staff, but also other academic seminars that are hosted here at the BIA or other organizations. And in addition to this academic delivery, we are also supporting them in their professional development and in order to access onward opportunities after they finish the fellowship. For example, we are working with the fellows at the moment to put together their applications for different graduate degrees at Oxford and scholarships, as well as in other institutions as well. And with this quick snapshot, I'll stop and pass it on to Alex for any closing remarks on the academic pillar.
Thank you very much, Sarah and Ruth, for that overview. The fellowship is just one of a number of programs we're building through the hub, and we hope to be able to expand opportunities to a wider group of people. But I think to hear more about the other activities of the hub, I'll now hand over to Phony for an introduction to the broader RLRH team. So Phony, over to you.
Great, many thanks, Alex. As you've heard, we have quite a lot of various activities that take place within the hub. And we definitely want to introduce you to the people behind it. We have worked together for the past 1 year. And initially we were 5 colleagues who were working on this, and currently we're at 42 colleagues that we work with. Out of the 42, 39 colleagues have displacement background. And when we talk about displacement background, we mean people who are former refugees, asylum seekers, stateless, self-identified, forcibly displaced person, IDPs, and refugees as well. These are like the people, the profile. When we talk about displacement, this is what we mean. In terms of gender as well, which is really important, we have 24 colleagues who identify as women and 18 colleagues who identify as men. When we look at the geographical location, from Eastern Africa, we have colleagues from Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia. Southern Africa, we have South Africa, Zimbabwe, as well as Zambia. And then from the North Africa, we have Libya, Tunisia, and then the rest are based in Europe, UK, and Canada. Also in the location itself, we have colleagues who've been based in the urban areas as well as the camps. When we're talking about the colleagues who are affiliated and colleagues who've really worked on the different activities and projects in the hub, in terms of the leadership, we have 6 colleagues who focus on the leadership. And then we've just heard from Ruth and Sarah on the RSC BIA fellows, who we have 12 of them who are focusing on that particular aspect. And then we had the BIA, RSC gas attaches, and there were 4 of them. And we've also heard about this in the introduction. And then we also have research leads who are focusing on the RLO study, who are 6 of them. And then we have research trainees that we work with, and they support the different work that we're doing at the hub. In addition to this as well, we have other upcoming opportunities. These are recruitments that are currently happening. We're hoping to conclude recruitment of 12 research assistants who will help us on the ongoing study on the refugee-led organizations that Bahati has just highlighted. And then we have the graduate research placement that we also recruit. 3 people will be recruiting for the graduate research placement with the East Africa Center for Forced Migration and Displacement. This is also something that is coming up quite fast. As we grow, we definitely hope to continue to recruit more people who will continue just working around the principles of the hub. As an organization, our mission is really to support refugees and displaced scholars in their academic endeavors as well as their professional endeavors. We're quite keen on ensuring that there's equal opportunity for them to trailblaze within these different aspects that they're quite keen on. And it's been great working with the different colleagues. I mean, I've learned a lot. And we look forward to really continue the expansion of opportunities and just working with the different colleagues from the different locations that I've just mentioned. So from us, we're really happy to have you here. And I'm going to pass it on to Andoni, who will now share more on the next steps we've presented. So what next? Andoni, over to you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Foni, and thank you everyone else for this whirlwind introduction, which is obviously quite expansive. We're very excited to be able to share it with you. And there are lots and lots of questions coming in the chat, which we are eager to get around to. So I'll keep this brief. I just want to share some next steps with you for considerations around what's on our horizons and how we can be in touch with you, and you can be in touch with us if there are areas for collaboration or any other promising overlaps in the work that we're doing. I guess to begin with, obviously through the collaboration with the BIEA, we're going to be able to continue to enable scholars to take part in scholarship programs and academic events. So that will include extensions on academics attachment schemes, and participation in the Introduction to Research Processes course. Many of you are involved, you're invited to be involved in that course, and we'll share links for that in the chat. As we settle in, we're also going to be planning to co-host research seminars with BIEA to broadcast from Nairobi, showcasing some of the research that comes out of the collaboration over time. Furthermore, we also have plans between the RLRH and at the BIEA to arrange a summer school in forced migration studies that will enable more scholars that are based in that region and practitioners to explore topics together in person at the RLRH facilities. Specifically in the RLRH research pillar that Bahati shared about, we hope to expand partnerships and collaborations. So if any of your organizations have interest in working with Bahati, Foni, Robson, and others that are based at the research pillar, it would be a great privilege to be able to be in touch with you. And we'll share an email address where you can reach out to us if you don't already have an address that ends with @refugee-ledresearch.org. Please do be in touch if any ideas spring to mind in that regard. And then as Foni mentioned, the team is constantly expanding from a year ago when we were only 5 in number to the 42 that we are currently, and will continue to expand. So there are some upcoming recruitments. Specifically right now on our agenda, we've got 3 graduate placements that are going to be launched with EACFMD, and that closes in about 1 week's time. So if that is something that you or others might have interest in, please do go ahead and share that link. Beyond all of those things that are on the more immediate horizon, we are looking to source additional sources of support to fund programs into year 2. So in particular, we're looking at attempts to continue and expand the programming for the fellowship. So we'd like to be able to expand beyond just the 12 fellows that are based in the African cohort, to be able to reach other regions of the world, because there is a very big demand for higher education, as you all know, and we would like to have forced migration studies be open to a broader cohort of scholars. We would like to be able to fund more gas attachments and others with the East African Center, and indeed, it would be wonderful to be able to fund a summer school in coming years. Beyond that, we're also looking for funding to roll out the online course in refugee studies globally beyond just the 1,000 scholars that Alex had mentioned earlier, to expand more broadly in year 2. And penultimately, we would like to be able to fund more professional placements, both for the fellows themselves and for others that are affiliated with the RLRH. And I think the last, but surely not the final point that we'll mention today is related to expanding the number of master's and PhD level scholarships that are available to RLRH affiliates and others that have displacement backgrounds. In particular, we want to be able to support them to pursue graduate degrees at Oxford, and we're working as well to expand those opportunities at other allied institutions. At the moment, we're expanding the number and range of scholarships available at Oxford. There are about 5 or 6 that are on the table for 2022, and hopefully that number can increase. In coming years, we'd like to be able to have 20 scholarships minimum, and we're certainly seeking support to make that possible. So please be in touch if that's something that you'd be keen to talk about further. We'd love to explore those opportunities. And as you might have ascertained from these presentations, we've been quite busy getting everything going for the past year. So we haven't yet gotten a website up and running at this time, but there are a range of ways to stay up to date and be in touch. So firstly, you're welcome to reach out over email at the RLRH addresses that are provided. Secondly, we'll hold the names of those of you that have ticked the box in the Zoom registration to be kept up to date on RLRH activities. If you didn't register online or if you didn't tick that box, you're welcome to go back into the registration and just add your name to that list. And lastly, you can sign up for newsletters. So there are BIEA and RSC newsletters that are sent out on a regular basis. We'll share some links for those if you want to sign up and be kept abreast of different activities and opportunities to be involved in RLRH activities. And with that, let's turn back to Foni to moderate question and answer.
This has been really an exciting session. We've got to share with you the hub and all the colleagues who are in the hub. And it's really been a privilege for us to do that. We look forward to seeing you at different activities and even look forward to collaborating with many of you in the many endeavors that we'll be having. We encourage you to reach out to us because we are all about being in touch and really improving the situation for our fellow displaced colleagues. The recording for this session will be available and you will be able to find it at the RSC YouTube channel. Feel free to share it with your colleagues. And in case of anything, you can also come back to us for questions. We look forward to staying in touch, and really from all of us, BIEA, RSC, RLRH, all the participants, I want to say thank you for sticking around. Even if we went 2 minutes overboard, you stuck around. So thank you so much. And we definitely look forward to further engagements with you all. So for now, bye everyone.